the other day, my partner was driving his car, and he admitted to me that he's been having some brake problems for the last 2 weeks. And I
Yeah.
said to him, please don't drive your car, drive mine. Just please don't drive your car until the brake issue is fixed. And then he said, well, I'm going to drive my car if I want to. And so then I felt, I wanted him to understand how important it was to me that he not be in this position. It looks scary to me. So can you speak? Maybe that's sort of a specific example of
Yeah.
us thinking differently about this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it looking
Yeah.
real to me that he could make me feel better by not driving his car. I mean,
Right.
Or he
Right.
could make you feel really upset, concerned, and worried by driving it.
yes, yes,
Right.
that's
Because you
exactly.
run into these kind of things all the time,
Yeah.
and we run into those kind of things too. We
Yeah.
think different. It's not at all unusual for men and women to think differently in this area. Not that it's that way across the board.
Right.
For me, it's so helpful for me to know that what I'm feeling is my thinking. I don't care how desperate the situation. It can be a life-threatening situation.
Yeah.
I'm still feeling my thinking in the moment. That doesn't get X'd out because it's a really, really important situation.
There's no exceptions to
Yeah.
that rule.
It
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's like it's even in the really, really important times, it's still true. And I have been able to stay settled down inside, to be able to stay reflective, insightful, and say I really would. And now your feeling gets more. Um, there's something impactful about a person who's really settled down and really being respectful of life and what's going on. And it's a deep feeling. It's a respectful feeling. And I would then go to Keith, and I would, with all this, I feel like a big ball of respect, just there. I'm just respectful. And I'm going forward, and I say to him, I would like to talk with you about this. Could we talk about this? Whatever had happened. And he can feel my feeling, and it impacts him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not after him, and I'm not pointing a finger at him. I'm simply saying, I would really appreciate it if we could talk about this. And then he tells me, and I can stay settled down while I say, that really, that scares me to think that you're driving with some faulty brakes, and I really wish you wouldn't do that. Now, see how soft that is coming from me. That's not what's the matter with you. I'm telling him something about myself, and you just have these really heart-to-heart talks, and it's of a different feeling level than what's the matter with you? Have you gone crazy? Why on earth would you possibly drive a car that had bad brakes on it when there's another one out in the driveway? And I mean, those are two completely different conversations.
Yeah.
And sometimes the guy's going to keep on driving the car with faulty brakes.
Yeah.
You can't. He doesn't always shape up, according to how I would like for him to. And believe me, I don't always shape up according to how he would like me to.
Right.
Sometimes we do. And it can't, if you haven't made any headway, you can go back a few more times. But
Yeah.
you've got such a nice feeling. It's actually a really good connection. You got good connection during these times. No separation at all. This kind of going forward in that kind of a way. Ooh, you're connected. You can feel that connection, and they can feel your respect, and they know that that they know that you're not after them, and they know that they don't feel, I don't know, you're connecting rather than separating. And it's that love and respect, and me knowing how I actually work so that I can get to that place and be
Right.
settled down about things.
Navigate towards
And
it.
we had conversations. There's nothing we can't talk about. There
Yeah.
is no off limits. Most people have off limits. There's nothing you can't talk about in an upset way that you can't talk about in a settled down way.
And we had to get to those places. I mean, like like it wasn't always that way. There were things that were
We
like,
grew into this.
I remember you saying a few years ago, "Wow, I've wanted to talk to you about this for 30 years, and I could never bring this up. Thank you so much for listening and being here. We're talking about the last, something that's been on my mind, but I never had the chance, and now we have the chance." So,
No, I never knew how to step forward and
right.
bring it up in a really respectful, settle down way.
And I never knew how to be able to hear it or talk about it or reflect on it. So you keep moving in that more insightful direction. You keep discovering things, but Valda said once, I want our clients to be able to think about anything, and it really struck me. I thought, whoa, yeah, we should be able to talk about anything. We should be able to bring anything up, and there's a way in which the principles will sort it out for you and keep you out of trouble in your own opinionated way, reactive way, such that you can get down that road, and that's just amazing. The human being, that the whole world could think about anything and not let it drive a wedge between them, because it's just content. I mean, that's a remarkable thing,
And we have to agree to disagree on a lot of things, but that's okay. There is something so powerful and helpful about being in relationship with people and being able to talk about anything. And we have learned so much about one another. I learned things that I didn't know for 30 years, some of them. I thought, well, I just don't think like he does. And I didn't ever know anybody would think like that. But as we explored a particular thing that we wanted to talk about that had always been too difficult to talk about, but now feeling I just knew that we both understood how we worked well enough that we could have this conversation, and the feeling was right and the time was right, and we were presenting ourselves respectfully. And it was like getting to learn a new person that I didn't know. And so there's all that freshness of that's in your relationship, but it is profound, the things that you end up sharing in those conversations that are slightly difficult, or you just think pretty differently about, or you have very different experiences having grown up differently or something, where there's a lot of difference.
Do you find that the people you work with have this kind of capacity for understanding, this kind of capacity for listening, this innate?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody does.
You get that misunderstanding out of the way, or you see what it is. Now you won't be able to remember it all the time. Somehow we can't quite master. It's not a mastery kind of a thing. Oh, I'm going to be able to remember this 100% of the time, and you have to accept that we are not always aware that that's what's going on, and it's very deceptive that it looks like something else is making us feel the way we do.
Yeah.
It's not a small deception. It's wildly deceptive. All the people that we've known for the last 35 years in the Three Principles community, that's what they want to keep their eye on more than anything else, and they all lose sight of it from time to time.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is a formidable thing here. This is not a small thing. And
it's ruined life on Earth for human beings, for Pete's sake. So that's a formidable misunderstanding. It's not small potatoes. You can just say to someone and they get it and say, "Oh, thank you very much," and they never have that crop up again. This is a working understanding, a real practical invaluable truth that will help you. But one of the things that happens is as much as you really want to hold on to it and not, you forget it, and then can you learn from that, or do you, go? Do you have misunderstanding about your misunderstanding? Or one of the teachers we were working with last night, she said she was talking to a client, and the client said, "Oh, I was going outside in, meaning about being outside in." So there was a way in which he was judging himself for being judgmental, and he saw that. But so you can learn from that, and he got a lot from that.
We were just talking about that today in a group I was running about. I said, why would I want to double the trouble I'm in?
The trouble, yeah,
And
yeah,
that captures it for me, that experience of
yeah.
layering on new thought on top of already really horrific thought.
Right, right. Double trouble. It's true. And then you see, oh, that how's that going to work? Well, it doesn't. So, but and that humbles you rather than uh, it puts it puts you back in the right direction again.
This idea, or this, I mean, so far it's what I've run into, that I can't uh, remember this 100% of the time as to how I actually experience life, and that it's wildly deceptive, that it looks like it's something else,
Other than thought in the
other
moment.
than my own thinking in the moment, you know. So I've just grown in deep respect for how deceptive, or how tricky, or how it's so I'm easily fooled sometimes, because it's not like people are just being blasé or stupid or something like that. It's There's some sort of collective thing about humanity that we all get fooled by this. It really connected me to all of mankind, such that I wasn't feeling judgmental of them anymore. It's like, oh my gosh, we're all in the same boat here. They get fooled by what I get fooled by, and it seems real when you get fooled. And it just completely changed my heart towards everyone, because I loved it. It's just level playing field. There the we all this we all lose sight of this, and I just started gaining in respect for how formidable it was. I thought, ooh, this is good for me to know. I'm going to lose sight of this up ahead. So, at some point I thought I wasn't going to, and when I did, oh man, it would really imbalance me. I'd get really imbalanced about it, because I had some false illusion that I was going to be able to be 100% about this. Watch me go, you know. And then as I see, oh, this is a very powerfully deceptive illusion that happens, that our feeling can be coming from something other than our own thinking in the moment. And I have just gained and gained in respect for it. I've had to come to peace with it. I think coming to peace with it was the hardest thing, because I wanted it my way, that I wouldn't lose sight of it. And I thought that would have been a better plan. And I had to get over that I didn't get my way about that. And it just is so humbling, because you'll do pretty well for a while, and then oops.